JJ Sinclair. Oh.
I think we should have already. I'm just going to release the episode with all this at the beginning.
Fucking idiots.
We're not the first. We definitely won't be the last. We'd like to welcome you. Another conspiracy cast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Another Conspiracy Podcast with your hosts Dean Sauter in Michigan, USA. And on this side of the pond, we've got JJ Jackson in lovely York.
Hi.
The north of England, and in the south of England, on the southeast coast, we have me in Southend-on-Sea, Ben Mills. How you doing, gentlemen?
Very good, sir.
I'm grand. Went back to work today.
Oh,
Had to
yeah.
wear a full face mask. And I didn't do any tiring. I just had to wear a full face mask. It was fucking bullshit. Yeah, it's weird.
In reception.
No, I had to clean the toilet. 'Cause, you know, I'm the boss man, and I still clean the fucking toilet. And they say apprentices have it really tough.
Yeah.
I think now.
I know cleaning toilets too well, though. I used to work as a lifeguard, so I had to do that for a little while. I've seen my
It's funny, though.
Shit out of the pole.
Well, it's funny. Like I've been tattooing for like 15 years, and I'd never had to clean the toilet when I worked at someone else's studio, and I do it more at my own studio, which is bizarre, but never mind. Certainly the toilet, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard at the top, isn't it?
Yeah. How are you? How's your week? Oh, go on.
It's Monday, isn't it? So I play golf.
That's how every day's blending into one at the moment during this lockdown. I hate that. I hate that with a passion that it does that.
Yeah, it's hard because yesterday was Sunday, but no one knew it was Sunday in our house. We're like, oh, it's Sunday.
I have to remember the days because I have to wake up at like 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning, so I can't just like unexpectedly think, it's still Sunday when it's Monday. Like I couldn't get away with that.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
Golf course mates.
Okay, but this is a
Bloody
bit.
Sunday.
This is a bit of a different episode today. I guess the listeners will probably wonder why we're not kind of, I don't know, diving straight into a title. But we've decided we're going to do a bit of a newscast, essentially.
Yeah, we're gonna, because there's a lot has happened in the world of conspiracy. Although this is becoming less of a conspiracy and more of a just like
What the fuck?
a new what the fuck, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Where you can now buy children from Wayfair.com.
You can nip down to B&Q and get yourself a kid. Like,
Yeah.
almost like the odds of that. Now that whole thing came out like out of absolute nowhere. I remember seeing on our conspiracy on Reddit, like someone posted the first image that I guess everybody's seeing when it went viral, with the fact that why do these like clothing cupboards have like names of recent missing children, and why are they $13,000 or like something stupid like that? Like,
And why are they all the same?
Yeah.
Why? And then that followed on.
And they're
with,
the shittest cabinets.
yeah, and then that
They're like
followed,
shit cabinets. They're
and
not
then
like
that-
ones you'd want to buy.
right. Yeah. Surely out of all of this, we're going to get into it further, but out of all of this, I'm still just waiting for that one guy to sit there and be like, oh, that one millionaire that isn't a nonce, to sit there and be like, tell you what, I'm going to buy...
There isn't one, sorry, mate.
No, there isn't one. I'm going to buy that bookcase for 15 grand, and I'm going to see if it comes with a kid. Like, there's got to be...
See,
Surely.
so the first thing that was the first thing I thought when I saw it was like, why doesn't someone just buy one? And then some cocky cunt at the bottom wrote, yeah, I haven't got to spare 15 grand to buy a cabinet. So one guy came and said, well, and it sounded like he had experience in buying children in cabinets on the internet.
Ugh.
But it actually, I can't remember his name. I'm not going to say it, even if I did.
Right,
But it actually said it's not you're not actually buying it. It's just like the people who are on the inn. They know what they're buying.
Yes.
They're not getting an actual cabinet stuffed with children. They just know
exactly.
that's a way to keep the paper train a little bit less.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it turns out that
it's a way of that money. It's almost like money laundering, isn't it? It's like, and here's the money for that item without like sending like a bag full of cash and then getting a kid in return. It's like a way of investing your money in your child.
I don't know why they don't sell a cabinet with a bag full of cash in it. So like the cabinet could be called bag of cash for whatever the fucking name of the cabinet is, and then they could just back and forth. Like eBay could sell the cabinets full of cash.
Yeah.
And Wayfair sell the cabinets of children.
So what's happening?
I mean, they could have thought of that.
Just go to eBay.
So,
There must be money. There must be kid trafficking on eBay as well. Right?
it's probably trafficking everywhere, dude.
Somebody's also pointed out that eBay is selling pillows.
Yes,
That,
Amazon
have names of missing children, and Amazon as well. Apparently,
Wow, so it's just everywhere.
Amazon's selling a black door, and some guy on I can't remember if it was Reddit or something like that. He claims that it's the doors are drug ones. So like someone's selling a full door full of drugs, but then he was so it was just like could be anything in that fucking door.
So like for all the listeners that are probably sitting there thinking like, what on earth are they talking about, like cabinets and shit like that? In the last few days, the internet has completely blown up because of a company called Wayfair. Their website having some really, really odd design. Well, I guess what like designs of like or their own sort of listings of cupboards, bookcases, like babies' photo albums. And what's happened is I remember looking through a guy's Twitter thread who created it, Tommy G. He has done. We'll link this in the Discord for anybody listening and stuff. But he done a really deep dive when it came to this whole Wayfair thing. And what was interesting about it, he went so far as to using a website or a piece of software called Photo Forensics to see how much of the images are like Photoshop. What's occurred is it seems that Wayfair are selling goods that are absurdly priced and very bizarrely named. People have found that on the website there are categories of, I guess when it comes to like decorative websites or decorative companies, they have like, here is our Chanel brand, or like our autumn sort of like conglomerate of items and stuff. But all of these, like the first one was cupboards. So all of these cupboards that were all exactly the same, that all cost like 15 grand for some reason, they all had the names of missing children in like the local area, like some absurd like names that you've never heard before. Like
they weren't like John and Steve, were they? They were
exactly like Desiree or like
Dupli was one of them. Dupli.
Dupli or something like that. So he was looking at a bunch of these things, and one thing that this Tommy G at Tommy G on Twitter, if anybody wants to dive or like follow his account, he then looked at a shelf that had like picture frames or like books like planted here and there, and he found that like if you read like some of the books in like the back of some of these like pictures of like, oh, look at this like sofa and next to, or no, sorry, look at this like coffee table or this sofa, and by the side of it they've got like a small coffee table with like books laid upon it. One will say like kindergarten, one will say that was it, Blood Harvest, like some batshit.
Blood Harvest.
Ball is dead.
Ball is dead.
Fuck.
But
there was other ones. There was like Baby's First Adventure and stuff like that. Like weird, like all like weird as fuck.
So
like, really weird.
So
That's
he's
crazy.
He was looking at like the picture frames and stuff like that. The shelves and the books that were included in it, and the fact that there's a picture frame that says Haitian in like, which is like someone from Haiti, which is the child trafficking capital of the planet, and there's this picture frame with friends, a black picture frame with friends written in it, and in scriptic writing it just says Haitian. Like as if to say, and it says underneath, it's like saying, "Ah, hey to your friends."
Haitian.
And what people are speculating is tiny little things like these that are in the backgrounds of the images and that are like indicators to the particular people or the particular custom that those items are sort of like working for, or no, sorry, are like available to. And what was interesting,
this is the Beatles episode all over again.
It is. It's
this is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club.
So what was crazy though is he put these images that he was showing all of these on like bookshelves and stuff. He was putting them in through this piece of software called photo forensics, and it can show an area that isn't the original part of the image, or that it's been doctored, or there's new layers over the top of it.
Yeah.
So, and it showed that they were like digitally putting these like titles on books and words in picture frames on purpose. So it's not like they've just got like stock books that just sit in the back of a B&Q catalogue or whatever. Like they're actually deliberately,
they're coded.
Yeah, they're dropping codes and stuff like that. It's madness, man.
Nonce codes.
And there were people that were saying that they were taking the store ID or the stock ID of these cupboards and searching for them with these particular trigger words that people have or sleuths have discovered that lead to all of these
sexy kids.
Yeah, and they were saying they were putting in the browser DuckDuckGo, and they would
Yandex.
Sorry.
Yandex is the one that people are using.
Oh, okay.
So it's Yandex is the one that they've kind of linked this thing where they're typing SRC, which I presume stands for source,
right?
And then they're writing USA, which then links to this thing that Tom Hanks wrote on the ground, or saw on the ground, or found on the ground. Because obviously, if everyone didn't know who's listening, Tom Hanks is in the firing line about all this. But we'll move on to that. But what you were saying about
we need to touch on Tom Hanks.
Yeah, we do need to. Someone needs to catch him.
Nonce.
What you were saying about these little fucking trigger codes. Surely the trigger code is that I'm not going to buy a shelf for 12 grand. Surely that is the trigger code for nonces. They're like, this isn't expensive, but it doesn't have the Haitian Friends picture frame, and it doesn't have the Bloodlust book, so it might just be a really expensive wooden. But it's just obscene. Like, so he went to go check about this book, didn't he? This
the Bloody Harvest book,
Bloody Harvest, that's right. And I'll let you carry on, but yeah, that was one thing that was just like, what?
Yeah, so Tommy G then like takes this like the book says the Bloody Harvest, the killing. It says like hold on. It said Bloody Harvest, the killing of Falun Gong for their organs. That's the title of the book. That's in the background of an image on Wayfair, and
for a bookshelf.
For a bookshelf. Of all books in the world. And what's crazy is it's a book about the genuine like idea of sex trafficking and organ trafficking and stuff like that. Like, oh no, I'm sorry, Mr. CEO Wayfair. Like, no, of course we are not involved in like child trafficking and that. But the book that we do continuously use in the background of our photos, it just so happens to be like the dummy handbook for if you're looking at fucking harvesting organs across the world. Like, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And me and Ben were talking just before JJ came up. It's crazy how all of this shit that is usually just purely conspiracy theorist, and you kind of have to like, you really have to kind of take a stretch with that or take a stretch with this.
Yeah.
It's all in plain sight, and it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying.
It's crazy. I can't even believe that it's actually like it just seems like too good, too real. Like, it's definitely not a coincidence.
No, it's not.
Like, it's either a wind up, it's a massive wind up, and someone's worked out how to put stuff onto Wayfair.
Yeah.
Or they are genuinely using Wayfair to traffic children that have been kidnapped. Like, there's the only two explanations. Is someone's doing it as a wind up, or it's real. There's no this is not an accident, is it?
No.
Did you guys see the? So when all this started kicking off, they found loads of container units in the Netherlands.
Oh no! Go
and
on.
they had basically like makeshift operation tables and stuff inside them, and and there was like a transit van as well that they found that was like completely soundproofed on the inside, and then you looked inside and there was just like a dentist chair at the back, and then one of the women like opens the door and she's like, check this out, and there's like finger marks in the metal, like scratch marks and like blood smears all down the thing. And there's an industrial battery in the passenger seat which refrigerates and air conditions the whole thing. And the woman is just like, I'm not undermining her, but she's just like she works at a shipping container unit. Like, she just probably, you know, she's just like, and she's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is this? Like, this looks like it's like, and they trap another woman inside and say like, scream and try and bang on the walls, and they can't hear her. Like, it's completely soundproof, and it's just a transit van. Like you've got to drop that
and
the woman is
Discord.
just like, I'll have to find the link, but the woman is just basically like, I think they're using this to harvest organs. And then this was obviously not the one in the Netherlands. This was in like the deep south somewhere.
Yeah,
but then they found loads of shipping containers. The deep south of the Netherlands. I believe they speak Flemish, but yeah, and it's mental. And this all came out around the same time, but it's kind of just been like brushed away. But then one of the people who had posted this thing said, this is probably how they're shipping these kids from Wayfair to people's houses. They're like just strapped in this chair, and apparently,
someone needs to buy
apparently
one.
there was a gas canister containing like I guess like a gas that would knock you out, and it's next to the air conditioning unit in the front of the van. It's absolutely mental. So it's just like, I don't know whether they were using it to actually gas them and kill them, or gas them and sedate them, and then keep and transfer them. And then apparently these units they found in the Netherlands are exactly the same as well. I'll have a quick dig for the video while you guys are
that is fucking
chewing that one.
Nuts. Well, I was going to say, like you're saying, chewing that one. I can't believe 2020. I generally cannot believe 2020 at the moment. We've got a pandemic that is just absolutely desecrating the planet at the moment. And
Florida is now the epicenter.
Oh yeah, Florida is finally the epicenter of something, thanks to Florida Man, possibly.
Yeah.
We've got the royal family in turmoil because of Prince Andrew. Ghislaine Maxwell was finally being found and arrested, and there's loads of shit coming out about that. And now, a bloody decorative website for your front room is the main target of human trafficking and like organ trafficking.
Naughty IKEA.
What is going? Oh, and
someone said that.
And we also had UFO videos disclosed by like the Pentagon. Like, what the fuck?
No one give a fuck about those though. Everyone's just like, oh well.
We knew about that.
Yeah. Who cares? They said it was real. Apparently they've got fucking like loads more as well. They've got hundreds.
What's going on?
A new thing came up the other day. And that was it. Everyone just brushed it under the carpet because they were like,
aliens?
For all them years of having to go at people who like believed in aliens, they just don't want to admit they're like, oh, maybe they could be aliens, but I'll let the idiots solve it, and I'll just.
Tom DeLonge left.
So hang on, I found it.
Yes, go ahead.
Police found a soundproof torture chamber hidden inside a shipping container on the Dutch-Belgian border. A dentist chair with a foot and wrist straps found in one of the containers, pictured in the image from the police video. And it's basically like a dentist chair with soundproof tin foil all around the container. I'll send you the link to it.
That is insane.
And I'll find the van one.
Fuck.
I think
so go onto the book. Go onto the
Discord.
book because the book is interesting.
Oh, what
like
you're talking about the bloody harvest thing? Like,
yeah, because that in itself is like.
I'm trying to.
Did you read that bit?
I was listening to Tommy G's breakdown about like this particular book and why it is so strange. He was saying like introduction, part 1, the evidence, chapter 1's methods, chapter 2 context, chapter 3 victims, the unidentified, which are mainly like children anyway. Yeah, chapter 4 victims, blood testing and corpses. That's the book that they wanted to put in the background of all of their images. What?
And the book is $901.
Oh yeah, I
for
forget to mention that.
For a hardback book.
No, not even hardback. Paperback.
Paperback.
And there's always, and what I was saying as well, with all of these things that are sitting in the background of these images, there's always one left in stock. always. And like JJ, like you just said, $900. Who's paying $900 for a damn book?
Plus, if you were buying a book about how to harvest organs, you would literally be like, we need to investigate that dude. Like, he's buying books on how to steal organs. Like, you know, it's not like Sunday afternoon reading, is it?
No,
it's not like, or you know, bedtime reading. Just like, I wonder how they harvest organs. And I'm really interested because it's $901 for a book.
Let me just have a look at this book that's like conveniently placed next to a book called Kindergarten. Like, what?
I was just about to ask, does it come on Kindle? How much is it on that?
I don't particularly know, but I just can't believe that this is happening and that it's real. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I don't. Yeah, so I'm on Wayfair. Have they taken it off Wayfair yet? All the stuff.
Oh well.
They said they've started taking them off, but then they've started putting in red herrings, so things to like be like, no, look, we sell this little doll called, I don't know, Johnny or whatever, and he's just an innocent doll and he's only £5. But they're doing stuff like that, like putting fucking stupid shit in there that you would would kind of, because I mean, obviously when you go to IKEA and stuff, they're named after like people and things and locations, but these are just too obvious.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
They're all like the same military kind of like locker as well, like little ventilation holes. And nobody's saying that people are buying these lockers filled with children. They're saying that it's like a guise, you know. I think when you start talking to people about it and saying, you know, I know we've already said this, but I think people think you genuinely think that you get it shipped to your house and there's a kid inside it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. Like, I mean, it might, but that's even fucking weirder. Because then you've just got like. Go on, Ben.
I can't hear Ben.
It's got to be.
Can't hear you, Ben.
Like,
there we go.
Have I gone?
No, you're here.
Right,
you're here. We
better?
can hear you. It's just very delayed.
Mate, this thing. I don't know what's going on. I'm hardwired in. I've got everything on.
They're on the
anyway,
mate. Just one thing. Like we might have to just pause that bit. But one thing it might be is because you're so far away from your computer, it might not be picking up your voice to activate the.
No, microphone's right here though.
Yeah, but it's not coming through your microphone. Is it coming through your microphone? Oh.
Yeah.
It was really quiet.
How about now? Is it coming through now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's loads better.
Yeah, I just moved it closer. Yeah, it could be that. But what I was trying to say is, it's clearly just a way of laundering the money and getting the money to someone, isn't it? It's not like, oh, you've picked Aurelian. She is I think they've already probably got who they're going to be. They just type in that specific name and they get it up. Sure.
Yeah.
It can't be like a search engine for them.
In more way than one.
That would lead. But then why would you have the clues in there?
Well, my thought is that you might have.
Why would you have the clues there though in the pictures?
People might make the purchase and then be contacted like via it, and there might be some sort of code speak or something like that. I have no fucking idea how that would work, but I would assume that that's what would happen. You wouldn't immediately put in bank details. It would be like, put your email address and contact number in, and we'll let you know when it's in stock. Like.
Yeah, especially after the whole Pizzagate thing.
Let's start a GoFundMe.
What, to buy one? Well, someone suggested that.
We should start a GoFundMe let's buy one and see what happens.
I don't want to do that. To be honest. I don't want to take that.
But then
definitely a nonce. But then you get arrested. Yeah, and then you get arrested. You're like, why are we buying that? We wanted to find out there was a kid in there.
It's because we got a podcast and it felt like a good idea, sir.
I also don't want to buy a fucking £12,000 locker if it is just a locker. Yeah. Like, it'd fucking be well annoyed. Like, you'd be ringing them up like, where the fuck is my child? People on the internet said there was children in these fucking lockers, and it's just a normal aluminium locker. What the fuck? Come on, Wayfair. There's another... Right, okay.
And it's missing a leg.
Onto the... And it already looks like it's been tampered with.
Seal's broken.
This is second hand. You said it was new.
That was disgusting.
The seal's broken. sending it back. This is all in jest.
The website promised me a blonde child.
This child's got no hair.
Oh, stop.
Awful. This is definitely
It's got a vitamin D deficiency.
Well, sir, you've got to remember that this child has been trafficked from Haiti. It's a very long way, and those cabinets are very hot.
And those Dutch shipping containers aren't very comfortable.
No. Yeah, do they just... Oh, this is fucking gross. This is too deep and deep diving the other way.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, this obviously one of the other things. The only thing I can think of as well is that now this has come out, everyone's like going, look at the name Wayfair. Like waif is a stray or someone of innocence, and fair is the price you pay for that. And I was just like, that is a bit of a grasp, I think. But,
right? Yeah.
But is it a grasp if it's like, yeah, no one will ever, even if they do find out, no one's ever going to go, well, your name is like Wayfair. You know, they're never going to be like, because I mean it does make sense what they're saying, but and it's not even how you spell it either. It's like waif, W-A-I-F, and fair not spelt the same as they're spelling it. But
one thing that was crazy that I saw was, like I mentioned a moment ago, with their like categories of their like products that they have. They're like, oh, this is what usually you would have. Oh, this is our I don't know, fucking Nigella Lawson range, or like, do you know what I mean? Like those sort of categories. And on the website,
the Seville range.
Yeah, the Seville range, or just something like that. Someone then took like a screenshot. Someone took.
He
like
didn't get it. I wait for a Dean to click with Dean.
What's that?
The Seville.
Hold on. What movie is that?
no.
Seville.
Ah! Zing! I get you.
It's not going.
Now then.
Now then.
But
Wait, oh shit! Did you see that thing I posted from Facebook Marketplace?
No.
Someone was selling a Jimmy Savile outfit on Facebook Marketplace the other day.
I know a couple of SAS soldiers that could do
in
with
Southend.
So, but yeah, get back to the Wayfair website. Someone I remember seeing on Twitter, I think it was, someone took a picture of their like collection range that they had, and it was like a list again of absurd, like not normal, like everyday run of the mill like names, but then they had like a list of all these children that matched these names and that they had all disappeared in like a certain time frame. And we're just like, is this fucking coincidence? Like, who are these people that are creating the Desiree Brown range?
I was just about to say, these people, considering they're like the richest people in the world, they're fucking idiots. Like, do they not have an imagination? Like, that bookshelf, the same bookshelf that's pictured 50 times, is all different prices. And they're all from the same company. Like,
right.
And all the cabinets look the same, like, but they've just got different names. Like, are they... Is this literally like a diversion tactic? Is it to take our mind off the... But if they were going to try and take our mind off something, don't take our mind off something that is very, very current, i.e. Ghislaine Maxwell. Like,
you know, yeah.
So if all this is happening, what are they actually trying to distract people from?
Right.
Like, what is worse than paedophilia? Like, it's just like... right, there's aliens, what do? We could sell some cabinets with kids in. Well, fake cabinets with kids in. Like, what the fuck? The Queen's abandoned fucking Buckingham Palace because she's so ashamed of her son. Or she's dead, let's be honest.
Yeah, or she's
probably
dead, yeah.
You know, she probably is dead.
That's so true, Jay. Like, that's absurdly true. And it's kind of convenient as well, because after that Wayfair stuff started coming, first began to surface, I remember seeing on Our Conspiracy on Reddit, someone had posted like, oh, look, here is an image of, I think it was the CEO, or it was like the finance CEO of Wayfair. Oh, look, here he is with Ghislaine Maxwell. Like,
straight away.
Oh my lord, the convenience. Like, who have
straight
they not,
away.
at this point, who the fuck have they not been photoed with? Like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
There was somebody trying to argue, like, about people who, Ben's little video's just glitching out all over the place. Like 1 minute he's in the seat. It's starting to look a bit like that shipping container. 1 minute has got a kid in it. The next minute they're being shipped off in a lovely aluminium cupboard. The problem is, like, you're guilty by association straight away, aren't you? And
in this day and age, it seems that way. Yeah.
The issue is, like, so Donald Trump now is saying that he, like, sacked Epstein off years ago, and he's saying it was about 15 years ago. That's what he said.
Oh, we had a big
and
falling
then
out 15
somebody
years
went,
ago.
well,
He banned it from Mar-a-Lago, didn't he? He banned it from Mar-a-Lago, which is his resort. But he didn't ban him because he was a nonce. He banned him the same year he got done for child molesting. He banned him because he tried to undercut him on a deal. That's why he banned him. He didn't ban him because he found out that he was a child molester. He banned him because he tried to screw him over some money.
Right.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump doesn't deny that. Donald Trump doesn't deny that. He just said he was a very shady person and he had some dodgy dealings, doesn't he, or something along them lines.
And said that he liked his girls young too. He definitely said that.
But he also agreed that he liked. He's like, we've got a lot of things in common. We like China. I'm terrible at Donald Trump accents, as you can tell.
China.
Why
don't you ask China?
But yeah, he said he cut off ties with him in 2004, and then some guys like, well, no, I've got proof that he spoke to him in 2007. I'm like, yeah, I've cut off ties with people, but I still have to fucking speak to him sometimes.
Right? Yeah.
You know.
I can't help that I just bumped into this guy down the pub with my friends, and one guy that I'm with doesn't have beef with him, yet I do. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're in the pub with Dave, were you? Well, fucking no, but
and
yeah.
Nancy Charles is still friends with him, but you just do it because you're friends with Nancy Charles. Like, he only touched a girl once, and they were like only a year apart. I mean, she was 15, he was 16. What's the problem?
I don't condone what Nancy Charles did, JJ. You can still hang around with him if you want, but
yeah, exactly. Fuck Nancy Charles if you're listening.
I don't
no idea. I don't like it. I don't want to hang with you.
I don't have any clue that you two are talking about. I am oblivious.
Mate, I'm from Yorkshire. I don't have any friends.
He doesn't exist.
That's ridiculous.
That's my middle name as well.
What's Charles? That's everyone's middle name, isn't it?
Like, speaking about keeping on topic of like trafficking and Wayfair as well. I just shared an article in our little Discord for the boys, for the people that are listening as well, on a website called Barnesville.com. So I had a quick breeze over the website to make sure it wasn't satire or anything like that. It's genuinely a news website, and it's been around since 1996. But
very poorly designed website.
It looks so GeoCities and Angel Fire. It screams 90s incredibly. But anyway, a guy by the name of where is it? Where's his damn name? Oh no, it hasn't divulged his name at the moment. But anyway, the title of the article is "Human Trafficking Narcotics Ring Bust Nets a Local Man." So a 26-year-old Barnesville man was arrested after the Coweta County Sheriff's Office and the Department of Homeland Security took down a human trafficking organisation based in the New Newnan area. And the mugshot of the guy, he has a Wayfair shirt on. And he's just
and he looks
busted.
like a thumb.
Yeah, and he looks like a thumb, has a Wayfair shirt on, and he's just been busted by the DHS and the Homeland Security for human trafficking. Like, can 2020 get any more close to the nose and like?
Can we confirm that T-shirt that he's wearing is a company T-shirt of Wayfair? Like, do Wayfair have their own delivery drivers, or because I mean, those things, like, he's in a mugshot and like it's the same as all this other stuff. Like, you've just immediately, like, in our day and age, we've immediately just got to go, it was photoshopped. But like, he's got something underneath his T-shirt, and then the Wayfair logo's like right up here.
It is in fact it is in fact a delivery driver or a warehouse operative shirt. The logo is exactly the same. Like, how the fuck
Imagine working in the Wayfair warehouse. Your husband comes home, he's had a hard day in the Wayfair warehouse. They're like, you're right, mate. He's like, Nah, I'm just gonna have to go to sleep. I just can't get rid of the voices screaming out of their little boxes, like waiting to get delivered to Epstein Island. Just like, help me! It's a long fucking way. Awful. Absolutely awful.
At the moment, this is all still speculation. That gives us a little bit of legal ground to keep laughing. Like, it's all kind of speculation, but it just
allegedly.
It's allegedly
It's just
happening,
too
but there's
perfect that
so
the
much
guy gets
pointing
arrested in a Wayfair t-shirt for human trafficking.
Can you imagine? You'd have to.
What's the date? What's the
Someone
date
said
on the
that
website?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
June 21st. June 21st.
What?
Right. Okay. So it was like two weeks ago.
Right,
Something
yeah.
like that. And
So
what's the
before-
date? The date's June 21st. Okay. Yeah. That's fuck. Maybe. I mean, these like little leaks that people find. You know, for instance, like going on to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes.
People are now skepticizing if they'd actually had her for ages, and that house that she's in is the custody house, and she was in this time she was leaking stuff out, so that the people who she would essentially throw under the bus wouldn't like panic and run away because they're like, shit, they've got her, let's fucking run. Like they've like people are saying that she was in custody from pretty much the moment that Jeffrey Epstein was taken.
Right.
Not,
Right. Yeah.
Not,
there
not
was that
taken
really
from
weird-
us.
By himself.
Sorry, you keep cutting out, Ben.
Yeah, you keep cutting out there, Ben.
Oh, it's really annoying. Right, I'm going to turn my video off and see if that makes it
They're
any
onto
better.
us. They're onto us. Where were we? To be honest, where were we in
There-
this like absurd mess of
Nonsense everywhere.
nonsense everywhere? Yep.
People are using
I think we
Wayfair
were just getting
to-
onto old G-Lane, weren't we? Old G-Lane.
Oh, Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
Oh,
And
Ghislaine.
just
Pronounced
Donald
Ghislaine.
Trump. Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, I heard that she's the one that leaked the Wayfair thing.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
the one that linked it.
Allegedly, I've been hearing those little things too. Not sure where
She's
I.
got tyres. Apparently, she's got tyres like this. There's her pictured with head of operations or something.
Oh,
But I
really?
don't know. He.
Oh no! Yes. I mentioned that.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. That's actually what we were just talking
Yeah, that
about.
she was just conveniently linked in some way. Has it been confirmed that that is what it was? Because again, I didn't see. I usually always, for instance, I had to look for the actual website of this alleged Wayfair delivery man being arrested
No, but-
to do with human trafficking. I always have to look for a source. Whereas on Twitter, I've only seen a picture and someone sitting there going, "Oh look, it's head of operations of Wayfair. Look, oh the convenience." Like I haven't seen
Yeah.
anywhere to confirm it just yet.
No, I haven't seen anywhere confirming it. No one's confirmed it with law or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So what I saw was that they had confirmed that was the guy. They confirmed that was his name.
Okay.
And they said that he was linked to Wayfair. But I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate here because I'm like, that picture, all right, yes, they are in close proximity to each other, but he is well out of focus looking that way, and she's in focus looking this way, as if she's... As if she's walking this way and he's walking away, or they're walking in the same direction, but they're not like together.
Yeah.
They're in the same. I mean, you've got to remember these are like they're the be all end all of richness, aren't they? They're just like socialite fucking, they're just they're gonna be in the same place. They were probably at Marina Abramovich's dinner, where they cook up children's blood and eat it. Like, that doesn't mean he's a child molester. He just likes to eat children.
It's just
don't
very,
wanna fuck
very
'em.
bizarre that it's just the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell has now apparently been arrested. Again, I keep saying this, we still have not seen a picture of her in custody whatsoever, which is absurd. And
it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big one.
Right.
So it's the start of the trial. Although they had a meeting on Friday, and she was on audio link with everybody. So there was an audio link, and that's.
But is that for her?
governed.
Is that for her safety?
I imagine
They
so.
say it's for her
that
safety.
She's on audio.
But the people who want, well, I'm saying the people who want to kill her, Fucking hell, the list is endless. But the people who could potentially kill her are the ones who are in prison. They're not going to be having. I mean, the technical difficulties we've been having tonight. Imagine what the fucking internet's like in prison.
Right.
In New York, like all them Wi-Fi signal. I mean, I've seen the mobile phones they stuff up their asses these days. I mean, you could barely fit any kind of signal. Like, they sell them at the garage near my house. They're like the size of a fucking small bar of soap, like a travel bar of soap.
Really? Conveniently crafted.
Yeah, really, really small. And I mean, I do chat to a lot of people who have been in prison, and they said that they have, what the word they use is plugged them up their rectums. So, yeah. So, just going on to this, like, briefly, I was speaking to you guys over the weekend about how. So this is all linked with Ghislaine Maxwell, but how people are now coming to conclusions about Tom Hanks. Because all these video streams, and then I'll go onto it in a minute, but all these video streams of Tom Hanks, he's kind of looked like he's been on a blank backdrop. He looks very rigid and very just like, and plenty of arguments. People are saying, yeah, he doesn't want people looking at his books or whatever. And now after seeing the Wayfair thing, I'm not fucking surprised. Imagine if he's in his I
haven't seen these live streams.
Is this the ones where he's like going, tune into my new show on Apple TV and things like that? Or,
yeah.
We're really ill. We've got coronavirus.
Yeah. So he's basically So at the beginning of the Corona thing, Tom Hanks was one of the first people to say that, that he'd got it. Him and his wife Rita Wilson, who was closely linked with Chris Cornell, who is dead, he committed suicide or was suicided. Who was writing a book about child trafficking.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a weird link.
Just a coincidence.
So Tom Hanks was in Australia, I believe. Oh no, sorry, New Zealand. I think he was in New Zealand, which is before the coronavirus happened. He signalled to everybody at the Oscars about meeting at a place in New Zealand. Don't know if anyone remembers that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So he on his Oscars award, he made an implication, I think that, or an insinuation. He made this speech that basically said, "See you all at so and so." So this was before the coronavirus. Everyone started going, "What is this place in New Zealand? Why is he telling all these rich people to go there? What the fuck is going on with this?" So anyway, they found him in New Zealand. Not found him. He was in New Zealand. He came down with coronavirus, and then after that, there was no kind of there was a couple of videos of them chilling out at this fucking place in New Zealand, and then ever since then, everyone's been like, "Well, what's this place in New Zealand?" Ghislaine Maxwell, in the time that she was not arrested, she was seen in LA at In-N-Out Burger, which has also got some connotations with some child thing. She was seen
there was
in
loads of really weird things in the
hashtags,
picture,
wasn't there? Like in and out burger babes, but it was not. It was similar to do with the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah, and
but
it's almost like she was photoshopped into that In-N-Out burger picture.
Say that again.
Is that because it was like she was photoshopped into that In-N-Out burger picture though? I've only just picked up on this thing in the last day or two. So the actual map of where she went before she went back to New Hampshire, the last place she went to just after Tom Hanks had said that he'd got this thing was New Zealand. And then she flew back to America. So what people are scepticising is that she was undercover outing all these people on this little trail, this little outing trail. And New Zealand was this area where... And then since then, Tom Hanks has only been at this, what looks like a compound. It literally, So one of his representatives has said that they told him not to film himself in his house. This is it. But he's just, stood against this backdrop, really, kind of forcing a smile, just and yeah, I want you all to go watch my thing on Apple TV.
I need to see this video, man.
It all starts cutting out, and it's really shit. For somebody who's a multi-millionaire, Like, you'd have good for doing things like that for press. You'd make sure you have good internet. Like,
yeah.
It's just it's a given. I mean, this is again, it's clutching, but there's a lot of well, was Ghislaine under custody and part of her conditions for essentially not getting life, even though they've said even if she gets 30 years, she'll be like 90 odd years old when she gets out.
Yeah.
Was this part of her conditions, or has she always been that fucking spy? Has she always been?
Well, her dad
was fucking part of the
Mossad
Mossad
agent.
Well, Mossad agent. And have you read the history of Robert Maxwell?
No.
He changed his name like 5 times.
Really?
He only became Robert Maxwell when he was like 30 years old.
That's
He
so
moved.
bizarre.
He named himself after a brand of cigarettes, and he was in the army. And this is true. They promoted him, and the lieutenant guy who promoted him, or whoever promoted him, said it was like Bandier cigarettes or something like that. They said to him, you can't have that as a lieutenant's name. We suggest that you come up with something a little, because it was a French brand of cigarettes.
Okay.
They said, we suggest you come up with something a little bit more British. And he went, and he made this like idea that he was from a Scottish background, Robert Maxwell.
Yeah.
And that was the last time he changed his name. So I mean, if you're fucking part of a family that are like, covert spies or whatever like that, maybe she's been a spy all along.
Right. That's
know?
actually a really good assumption, dude.
It's just one of them. I mean, the things that I've been watching, like, I'm not the first person to like kind of delve into that, but they have basically,
It makes sense.
How like what we were saying on the last podcast about like governments doing things, and you're just like, surely they wouldn't do that just to do that. But
Right.
like to us or to them, that's like, what's a few children if we can out a major paedophile ring? Like what?
Right, yeah.
Why would it?
Not even out the paedophile ring. Use the members of it and blackmail them. That's what they'd use it for. They wouldn't use it for like, we got some paedophiles off the street. Like, and you're a nonce. We want to use your power to get into this place here or use that. That's how the government would use it, right?
Yeah, it's very, very true. It's like the same one. Like, I'll just quickly interject here before JJ carries on. It's like when you walk into Epstein, what does they documented saying? When you walk into Epstein's house, there's a painting of Bill Clinton dressed in drag in a blue dress, like laid down on like a couch. That's blackmail. That's welcome back, Bill. That's such a great picture I have of you.
We were gonna this week. We were gonna speak about secret societies, and then we had decided between us all that it would be a good idea to touch on this. But this does link into the secret societies thing, because the majority of them, to begin with, put you through some form of humiliation as blackmail, so you don't out their things. And the first thing that everyone's been going on about is Ghislaine Maxwell's got these videos of 2 very high up people doing very bad things, and it's like, who are these 2 high up people? Those people now are just like absolutely shitting themselves.
Well, of course, absolutely.
But it comes down to that, doesn't it? Like, it's blackmail. So, like what Ben was saying there, it's like, do we, just out them and then say, well, look, we won't tell everyone about it if you, tell us where the nukes are, or something in a weird James Bond guy accent.
Yeah, something about nukes.
So yeah, that was that was kind of
everything seems to be. It all seems like a blackmail thing. Like everything that Epstein was doing, he was like, "Oh, I can get you this," and and like it feels like they all thought it was for money, but obviously it was for power. That black book seems like, I've got you in the palm of my hand now. Like, I can mould you and make you do things. So he can go to his other mate who he's blackmailing, go, oh, I can put you in touch with this guy, and if you give me this much money, I can make him do that. That seems like what Epstein was doing and Ghislaine Maxwell were doing, was they were just puppet masters for like whoever their boss
bouncing
was.
money
like,
around.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Everything was just like power.
Sorry, mate.
That's it.
There was like talks right at the beginning of the whole Epstein thing of like, no one really knew where he got his money from.
No,
they were all well, because he was actually going to be I think he was going to study I want to say science or something, but he failed his degree, and then after that, he just ended up working with loads of rich people. Like, it's not like something you do, is it? You're just like, oh, I failed university, and then like, oh, I just met this guy, and
then
it's funny how
it was implied that he was like a genius with money, like numbers, and like he was good on the stock market, and that's what is implied in that Netflix documentary. But then other people who weren't on the Netflix documentary that knew him quite well said he was fucking useless with money. He wasn't intelligent. He was just really
He's
good.
just very good at blackmailing people, clearly.
Yeah. Because
the world's greatest
given
bust.
the guy who owns Victoria's Secret, who is a nonce. He gave.
what was it called?
I can't remember. Alan something or something.
Rexner.
No, that's Alan. No, Wexner.
Wexner.
Yeah. Gave Epstein a $100 million apartment in New York. He gave it to him. And the deed was just
that's
given
the biggest apartment in New York as well.
That's
They've said
crazy.
that is the biggest private housing accommodation in New York.
And it was just given to Epstein by this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you can have this. And like, Epstein's lawyer is Alan Dershowitz, who is just like nonce magnet for like get OJ
Can I just cut
Simpson,
in as
Bill
well,
Clinton.
just to tell everyone, his nickname is Piss Teeth,
Oh.
because his teeth are like, they're like just loads of little Bart Simpsons. Just a full rack of Bart Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Loads
hear
of
his,
Bart
he,
Simpson.
I love that. I was just watching that and that Schultz thing, Andrew Schultz thing.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
I get my underwear on at all times. Like, you meant to. I kept my underpants on.
Oh, yeah.
It's so dark.
Yeah.
The whole thing is dark.
Yeah.
Right. It's
It's
all linked.
It all comes into connection. But one thing that I will say about when we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell and stuff like that, and also with like Wayfair and just the whole fallout of everything that's going on at the moment, the fact that it was found out on Reddit as well that Ghislaine Maxwell was a mod for a lot of lot of subreddits, particularly one r/world news. So no wonder she was an absolute mod of that. But what also connects with that that happened not too long ago. I'm quickly going through my Twitter to see if I can quickly find it. But this ex-CEO of Reddit ended up replying to who's that artist? Sia, the singer Sia. Sia tweeted something like saying, "Oh, I'm so glad that I never actually got invited to any of these like big time parties, because like hell would I want to be pictured with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell." But then the Reddit's ex-CEO like replied to her and was just like, "Oh, count yourself lucky, or don't think like it's anything bad that you weren't on the guest list and stuff. We all know that they're helping like child sex traffickers and blah blah blah." And it was like, what the fuck? You just like openly tweeted saying the fact that you know that this person is responsible for child sex trafficking. Andrew, the ex-CEO of Reddit.
Sia, didn't Sia do that music video with Shia LaBeouf where he's dancing with that little girl?
Yes.
And wasn't that considered a bit
Racy?
You know,
I think that wasn't that little girl Sia's daughter.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, still, it's
don't know.
like.
It's still a bit weird, isn't it?
I remember there being some controversy about it, and Shia LaBeouf as well. Like he's same as Mel Gibson. He's gone. They basically got pushed aside in Hollywood, didn't they, for being like insane?
For probably
and
not
it's
liking
probably
kids.
because they know that something's.
Well, look at Corey Feldman, man. He's been calling it out for years, and they just make him look like a lunatic. They go out of their way to make him look like a lunatic. But he obviously has lost his mind a bit. Like he's always wearing that Michael Jackson thing, and like. But he kind of is trying to give. It feels like he's trying to give clues, and like he's like doing these things to try and get it out there. And he's just being made to look like a complete lunatic. But he's been saying this since Corey Haim killed himself.
Right, yeah.
Saying like, Hollywood is full of paedophiles and no one is listening to me. And they're like, get him off. Get him off there.
And now,
Did you hear about
so-
his? Sorry. Go
No,
on.
go ahead, JJ.
That's the problem. It just keeps. I can't it keeps cutting off. Anyway, so Corey Feldman's documentary that got released. He was only going to release it a 2-night viewing in. It's a place just down the road from the Viper Rooms in LA, and
Okay.
the first night, somebody. I might be wrong. Definitely something happened both nights. Can't remember which way around it worked. First night, somebody called in a threat, a bomb threat, or something like that. Second night, the place was either on fire or somebody set off a fire alarm. And the first night, apparently, something like 3 people turned up. So this is Corey Feldman, like. All right, yeah, he's mental, but regardless of that, I went to fucking HorrorCon in Sheffield, and the queue for Corey Feldman was huge just to meet him. Like, he was at the viewing in LA, and apparently like 3 people went. I'm just
that don't make sense.
Same as the Donald Trump thing. Like, apparently, like in his rallies, that loads of people were telling people to buy the tickets but don't go, and so like all Donald Trump's like guys did was just push them all into one corner to make it look busy as fuck, but there were apparently there was like 5% of the seats filled or something like that. It just seems like something. Corey Feldman, yeah, granted, he looks crazy, like, but you would be fucking crazy if you felt like you were surrounded by like predators. Essentially.
Right, exactly, and that's
not
just
predators.
Well, he said there was like on the set of one of their films, I can't remember. Charlie Sheen molested Corey Haim. A film that the film set that's like fact. Like Feldman said that from day one since Corey Haim killed himself.
Yeah.
And he killed himself because Charlie Sheen molested him.
What the
And Charlie Sheen went fucking mental as well. Look at when he had his little like
breakdown
outburst, like and it was like he was talking about like drinking China blood.
Tiger
blood.
That's it.
Tiger blood.
Charlie Sheen.
It's like
It's the film Lucas. It was.
But yeah,
Lucas, which was like
you're
an
saying,
early
JJ,
one, right?
like granted, it is Corey Feldman, but there's no way that there shouldn't be people coming and watching that documentary, and then both nights that something occurs.
Well, you'd go just to see if Corey Feldman. You'd go just to see if what Corey Feldman had done. You're like, because if you think he's a lunatic, then you're going to go and watch him do something crazy. Yeah, or if you think, it's Corey Feldman, that's going to be cool or crazy.
Yeah.
And then you'd go, wouldn't you? There's no way you wouldn't go to that. So and if you were a Hollywood producer, or if you had something like, you wouldn't even care. Like, you'd either really go to see him either lose his mind or something weird, or you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
You wouldn't try and stop it happening, would you? Unless
Everyone
there was
likes
something.
a car crash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and that's why him and fucking I tell you one that like without like digressing too far, but Macaulay Culkin looks like he has gone in as little Macaulay Culkin. Loads of shit's happened to him. He went mental and he looked like he's had his brain washed.
Yeah.
He
And he's come out the other side.
has come out the other side and he's just like,
What?
he looks like he's gone through some fucking mind
Exactly.
control.
when he was on, he was on
He's
Rogan,
just like,
wasn't he?
Yes.
on Rogan, he was fucking weird. He's just like, and he starts talking about loads of stuff, and you can tell Joe Rogan's like, feels a bit uncomfortable. He's talking about having kids with his new girlfriend, and he's like, my lady friend, and he's just like, what the fuck?
It's like the Joker,
and like,
isn't
he
He's
claims
like,
he was fucking done by Jackson, didn't he? I think.
No, he said he wasn't done by Jackson. He said that Jackson never did anything. Yeah, he said that Jackson never did anything. He's never saw anything. Nothing ever went on. But, like, even the people that say that they don't think Jackson's a paedophile said, well, yeah, but he was really close with other kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It feels like he's either repressed it so much, or he's been brainwashed, or he's just like, or nothing happened.
Or he's just
MK Ultra, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MK Ultra, yeah. But I wanted to quickly bring up as well the fact that it came out in the news just recently that Ghislaine Maxwell the FBI nearly completely and utterly blundered the arrest that they were attempting on her. And I remember hearing this last week. Now, I can't remember where I heard it, and it's fucking annoying that I can't remember it. But
We don't have to
came
fact
out-
check on this show.
Yeah, oh, well, yeah.
We might have to get someone to do that.
Something came out that the FBI, when they were scoping out Ghislaine Maxwell's property that she was staying in and stuff like that, the shroud that the FBI had given themselves, they were like a geographical assessment unit, and what they were doing, they were flying drones in and around the area to like landscape like this particular area, and a neighbor.
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, and a neighbour of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was, well, in this area, everybody is stinking rich. A neighbour approaches the FBI or this like geographical architectural analysis group, and he's like, "What are you guys here for?" "Oh, we're just excavating and taking readings of the area. There's going to be a bit of underground work going on." "All right. You're measuring the geographic architecture and blah blah blah. Why aren't you doing it with this instead of like a drone or something?" And it turns out the disguise that they'd given themselves, the neighbour was an absolute prodigy at that field of work.
Oh, no way.
And he rumbled them immediately. And that's when they were
hilarious.
like, "Fuck, like shit, we better
I
get
thought
him."
you were going to say it turned out the neighbour was wearing a fake turban and a beard. And he was in the SAS. He's like, "This is where we all hide out. Fuck, the pedos down the street."
"Yeah, what are you boys doing here? I thought we were supposed to be here."
Oh no.
But yeah, the disguise that they had, the guy that approached them, the neighbour, was a professional in the field and was just like, "Yeah, you guys are talking shit." Like,
Why didn't they check that? Like, you
You'd have
know,
thought.
fucking, I know, shop locally, man.
Right,
Fucking,
yeah.
Just go,
but
go to the neighbour and be
just-
like, "Is Ghislaine Maxwell living next door?"
Yeah, but it turns out, like, I'm sure it might have even been on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, one
Really?
of them had sat there and said that they had worked with someone that was on the case or something like that. But just reading in the recent news articles, it was apparently her cell phone was wrapped in tin foil, so nobody could like. Yeah, and it was alleged Jeffrey Epstein's sex crime accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, tried to flee from the FBI agents, and that's probably. And at first, when
And then
I heard
she
that
ate a
story-
SIM card.
Can I cook mine? But what made me laugh though, is
bro.
I hear about this FBI story and it's like, all right, yeah, really, like that's quite funny.
Yeah.
And now it's just been reported that she actually tried fleeing. So you're kind of sitting there thinking, maybe they did just completely and utterly nearly fucking like completely bundle
But
their
then
investigation. and
Someone
the
else is
arrest.
saying that she works for them. Someone else is saying that she's an asset and she has been forever.
Well,
But
Yeah, this is.
she-
I'm
but
more
she
sold
could-
on that.
right.
But she's probably not an FBI asset, and so she's probably
She's an asset to
She's
someone.
an asset, but she's someone's asset. She's probably not an FBI asset.
But why have we still not seen
you reckon
a
that's-
picture of her in custody?
But do
Why?
you reckon that's why Epstein? Do you reckon that's why Epstein got off? Because he was an asset, and he was going to give up the whole thing, or he was going to give up that Ghislaine Maxwell was an asset. That's why he suicided himself.
I don't know.
I'm just like, so there's one thing that I've read, or two things that I've heard about Ghislaine Maxwell, is that the two major victims in the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, like the one that's at the forefront, one of them's the artist woman, and the other one's the younger blonde woman.
Yes,
They're the only two people that said that she kind of involved herself into the thingy, but
Yes.
into like the sexual part of it. But from the sounds of things, she just sounds like a super fucking weird girlfriend who just
Yeah.
wants to do anything to please her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because like he always just referred to her as her best friend, and she's like, you can see her like just behind him all the time, just like, "Yeah, but he won't love me if I don't get him another girl."
Yeah.
And like that, and it feels like that relationship, like a master. But then, do you not feel that they are a master and servant relationship? But
It
then they're
does
just
sound
on a
like
set
that.
of massive strings, and
He's
two
just-
other
yeah.
people are just like, like fucking absolutely loving it. Do you know what
It
I mean?
sounds like he's performed like the hardest friend zone that was ever performed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's trying to just please him. But then one of the big theories is that she is the fucking puppet master. So Jeffrey Epstein was just a little bitch, and she
financer,
was
like a financer.
She's the big balls in this operation.
Well, if she's got anything,
That's the
if she's
one that
anything like
I'm
her
sold
dad,
on, because I'm just like, yeah, Robert Maxwell. Oh, he fell off his boat.
Oh, did
Don't
he?
think so. Yeah, he fell off his boat and died.
I don't know
randomly,
too much about this.
Yeah, just.
I don't know too much about
Yeah,
him, but
Just,
We
as,
should
just as he
maybe-
was hiding out
We should
in his
maybe do a
yacht.
dive.
Yeah.
Not a dive for Robert Maxwell.
It-
try and find him.
There's so much.
Sorry.
It goes so
that
deep.
was superb. That was so sharp. Sorry, I missed that one nearly.
It goes so deep, and it's like it goes off in so many different ways that the sex trafficking is just part of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the
yeah.
sex trafficking feels to me like the sex trafficking was just a way for them to blackmail people and get money. It doesn't feel like they were. I mean, Epstein was loving the underage
Right.
chicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
chicks.
It's,
but,
I agree with that.
It's
it
crazy
feels
how
like,
it all
but
seems linked.
Ghislaine, it feels like, yeah, everything seems linked at the moment. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like the Wayfair, Ghislaine being arrested, Epstein not killing himself, and Prince Andrew, the Queen leaving Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, what's all that
and
about?
And the Gurkhas
That's
taking over.
fucking weird.
It all feels like something's happening, like something is building, and we, the Not Another Podcast, conspiracy podcast people, are at the epicenter of it. I feel like we are in New York City, and the painting is in the museum, and there's a river of slime. It feels like there's a river of slime right now.
I was just like, oh my god, he's going there.
He's going for the
It feels
Ghostbusters
like
2 reference.
It feels like there's a river of slime under the world at the moment, and it's just it's growing, and it's all leading to fucking Buckingham Palace.
Choose the form
Yeah.
of the destructor.
I knew it was coming.
I've got a
That was
soundboard.
amazing.
Oh, I've got a soundboard. I had to do that. You got.
When
quite-
somebody asks you if you're a god, you say you're a god.
If we're quoting Ghostbusters at any point, I have to bring in the Gozer.
I love the guy. It's just, what's he say? I love you too. I'm covered in goo.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm all covered in goo.
I'm all covered in goo. Janosch. Janosch is so creepy, man.
Janosch. Oh my god, that was terrifying when he turned into that old woman and was on that
Oh
bike.
god,
Yeah,
yeah.
that horrified me as a
it's a
kid.
pram. It's a maid and a pram.
Yeah, it's a maid in a pram. He's got lights.
Yeah, but it's him though, isn't it? He's
Yeah, it's
summoned
Janosch,
that-
yeah.
It's him. It's
He's
him.
summoned
Oscar!
that-
Oscar!
He took my baby!
He took my
So
baby!
good. But then fucking Peter Venkman's a fucking pervert as well, isn't he? He's a right slinger.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
just going round to her house, or like, oh yeah, I'll come and bust some ghost right up in your...
If Peter
Poonan.
Venkman was a real
But the
character...
best line,
If Peter
the best
Venkman
line in
was
that film
Go on, Ben.
is when she goes, I need to put Oscar down, and he goes, I'll do it for you. You're short, you're funny, you stink, and you're a terrible burden on your mother. Like, it's like ultimate dad joke. He just busts the dad joke in there, swoops straight in, becomes Oscar's
Brilliant,
dad.
yeah.
I still
Stepdad.
think as well, if Peter Venkman was a real character, he'd have been Me Too'd, like, immediately. Like, he'd have
yeah,
been absolutely
100%.
cancelled before
whole
Yeah,
relationship was
Dana
based
wouldn't
on-
have been letting him around a kid, would he?
Yeah.
Let's be
No,
honest.
no. Absolutely not.
So we're not saying Peter Venkman is a child molester.
No.
We're saying
No.
just a
Absolutely.
really
It's just-
horny guy. He just
Yeah,
likes
80s horny
women.
guy. Yeah.
I can say it now. I would be greatly disappointed if Bill Murray was listed.
Never.
Like,
Never.
That's what I'm saying.
Did you right? Okay. Did you guys see? I know we need to wrap it up soon, but did you see the Sergeant Pepper's collage of all the paedophiles that have been? Like, oh my god! It's
I'll make it
Sergeant
the
Pepper,
thumbnail.
but Someone's made a collage. Guess who's on there that I would never have expected to be on there? There's probably loads on there, but the one
go
that
on.
I was just
Alan
like,
Shearer.
no, I'm like, oh no, I nearly did a fucking Paul Gascoigne impression. Different guy. Marshall Mathers, Eminem's on there.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
And his memes keep coming up a lot.
No.
and people are referencing it. Yeah. And I was just like, surely this isn't real.
The only, we had the Beatles,
There's loads on there.
We had Eminem, and you fucked it for us, you prick.
Will Ferrell's on there, which I'm like, yeah, there's something not right about that guy.
I could see that.
But Eminem's on there, and I'm like, so a lot of these people have been to Marina Abramovich's like dinners and stuff, and I haven't seen Eminem at any of them. I haven't been there, obviously, but
I don't know about this Abramovich character. Is this does she own Chelsea Football Club?
No.
No, isn't that
That's Roman.
Isn't that Delia Smith?
No, that's Norwich.
That's Norwich.
All right, okay. Right, well, we've obviously gone off this subject, but Marina Abramovich, which could be a good cast because she's highly linked with all this. She's she's one of them artists that just like they don't really do any real art. They just kind of stand there and let people do stupid shit to them.
Right.
Like an installation artist, but she started doing that when she was a kid and basically like really dark stuff. So she did one where she just stood there completely naked and they put loads of implements in the room and she told the audience
see that one.
They could do whatever she wanted with them.
Didn't she have a loaded gun on the table?
She had a loaded gun with one bullet and one guy was going to pick it up and do it, and the audience started fighting, and she did that every night for like God knows how many nights. But anyway, she started doing something called spirit cooking. Which is basically, I think it's an idea from like Germanic paganism where you would ingest the blood of the innocent and gain power. Okay. So she's linked with Lady Gaga.
She did a slave auction, didn't she, in Germany? Like a joke gay slave auction. Lady Gaga.
Probably. She's fucking mental, but she's linked with all this spirit cooking and like cannibalism and shit like that. And if you look at any of those conspiracy theories against the rich and famous, she's always just there like, in the
background.
I really hope she doesn't, because I've watched so many interviews with her and she just seems like that fucking cool auntie. Do you think though she just sort of snuck? She just wants to be. She wanted to be famous, so she went to all those parties and just tried to get noticed. Or I think she might be the fucking puppet master. I think she's got fucking Kanye West wrapped around a little finger.
Let's not even get started on Kanye West.
We can save that for the next newscast.
Let's not get started. Yeah.
Right,
you guys should check out. Have some look about Maria
Abramovich. Well, yeah. I'm gonna end it there because Dean needs to leave.
I do, unfortunately.
So let's wrap this up with. Basically, Ghislaine Maxwell owns Wayfair, and you should buy her cabinets.
I thought your chair snapped and you fell away from the microphone.
Really?
Your camera has been frozen for the last like 30 minutes.
Really?
I don't know if it has on Dean's end.
No,
it's I can see it frozen on mine. It's frozen, but if it means that we can like actually do this podcast and not just have me just coming in every 10 seconds with. Then so, thank you for listening to not another conspiracy podcast, and I'm sure you've learned loads of stuff about furniture and child trafficking.
Yeah, and as well, if you guys are interested, the listener, of course, interested in these more sort of relaxed episodes, do let us know, because this was thrown together on a whim immediately. Like, Ben was just like, right, let's do a newscast. There's too much shit going on at the moment to be able to schedule research and do like a deep dive on something. So I think this was quite enjoyable, but as well, listener, let us definitely know on Twitter or wherever whether this is something that pleases your ears.
Yeah, because the podcast is still growing and changing, and it's becoming what it is. And I like the idea of doing deep dives as a monthly thing. Like we go, right, we're doing a dive on this. The newscast can kind of bring, because so much is happening. That's the thing. Like so much is just coming out. 2020 is just mental. So there's so much to keep up with, and also there's stuff that's happened in the past. It'd be nice to kind of like get it all out there, and instead of waiting and missing the boat on something.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Okay, is there anything anyone else wants to say before we sign off?
No, well, mine is still keep in mind that Ghislaine Maxwell has still not been pictured in custody whatsoever. We have still not seen one picture of Ghislaine Maxwell in custody. Don't forget that and ask questions. Question everything.
And mine is if your neighbour keeps getting things delivered from Wayfair, he lives alone, and he's always walking like he's got a bit of a limp, he's probably having sex with children. So shop him to the police.
And he owns a transit
or he
van
just really
with a
likes
dentist
furniture.
chair in it. Yeah. He's got a transit van with a
That might
dentist
give it
chair.
away.
And as always, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Absolutely.
And make sure you join the Discord and follow us on Twitter at AnotherCon and on Instagram at AnotherConspiracy. We're always posting the stuff we find online on those places. Thanks for listening.
Thank you indeed.
And see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
What happens when it comes to it? In the thing. Oh, maybe they did. So in the back there is a light brown jacket. Cool story.
We're not the first. We definitely won't be the last. We'd like to welcome you.